All right, hear me out. Today is Wednesday, June the 12th, 2024. This is So Says Mr. Thunder. I'm Mr. Thunder. And if this is your first time coming to the podcast, I want to say thank you. And I really appreciate you for being here. For those of you who have been following me along this journey, man, you already know. It's definitely about you. It's not about me. So I thank y'all for, sticking with me on this. Anyways, today I kind of just want to give a good report. In the last, couple weeks, I'd say, I've been getting some good report from some very influential people that have impacted me during this process. And one was the fact that this particular person had realized who they were, and in identifying who they were at that moment that we were having that conversation, it was a seed that was planted behind the conversation that me and this other person had about what they saw for themselves. And lo and behold, we had this follow-up conversation where this person did something and they elevated to the next level and they want to just talk about it. So I'm grateful for that. Then there was another individual who, first time we met on a frequency that the perception of reality would have made you think that we knew each other for a long time. So we connected on that level. Kept up here and there. Nothing too deep, It was a friendship that was understood, didn't need to be explained. And long story short, I was calling another friend that had a similar last name. And when the memory of the last name popped up in my head, I said, man, I got to call this other one as well. Just so happens the one I intended to call didn't answer the phone, but the one that I thought about picked up the phone. So we started chopping it up or whatever, and he's giving me a good report, like, what's been going on in their lives and what decisions that they were able to make to, help them understand a little bit better the process that they were going through or going or trying to establish the process. And every chance that they got to recognize there was a level of greatness that was being understood or could be learned, this particular person took advantage of it. So listening to that, I realized that everything he was telling me about what was going on, where his head was and everything, I realized that he was also giving me a verbal confirmation in the process that I had been going through with this podcast, right? We identified in our conversation levels of understanding that unlocked in me and him ideas that will be taking root soon. So it was crazy how we meet back up off of the same frequency, but we've been offline and not on the same channel for so long that it's never like we forgot how to connect. And so the moment that we decided to connect, it was always a good conversation that ensued. And previous to me calling him this particular time, he had called me a few weeks back on the same conversation. So that was cool. But what I'm trying to tell y'all is I personally am excited because I have been giving so much of myself in this that it's allowed me to pour out so others can pour in. And it has given me a greater understanding of purpose when it comes to how I perceive success. You know, we talk about it all the time on the things that we want and things we like to do based upon things that we see others doing or knowledge that we've obtained saying that we could do it. We just haven't done what it takes to do it yet. And, understanding that part is where, when making a decision comes into play, that you just want to go ahead and be successful in it. But you're going to have to do it continuously. It can't be in moments. It can't be sporadic. It's got to be continuous. A level of discipline has to be obtained to make what you have manifested mentally become actual physical manifestations. But a lot of people don't want to do that. So to do that, right, you got to realize, what sacrifices do you want to make in your old self and your new self? And can you develop a network that requires you to no longer be connected with things that don't connect you to others and replace them with things and people who do, creating a network of people who have a network of people? Why do I say this? As we were closing our conversation, the brother stops me and he said, you know what, Ramsey? You are what they would call a griot. Griot. And I'm like, wait a minute, what the fuck? Wait, hold on. What is that? I knew it was a compliment, but I didn't know what it meant. So he was like, look it up. So we had an agreement before we got off the phone. All right, man, I need you to do this for me and I'm going to do this for you. So we had homework for each other. So I look it up, and it's basically a storyteller in Western Africa, right? Western Africa, and it's close to the sea. But it was basically, definition of a griot is a storyteller of oral tradition in Western Africa. Why does this intrigue or pique my interest? Well, it does it because I look at the path from where Western Africa is to where the last place Jesus was. And you realize that it's a straight line, which is the shortest distance. Not only that, it was a straight line, but it was by the ocean. Why by the ocean are there people that are documented for being storytellers? What did Jesus do? Jesus spoke in parables, basically telling stories. He taught his disciples these skill sets to be able to speak in the same manner. The last commandment was to be fishermen of men. Love one another as I have loved you, and spread the gospel. What if a griot is a disciple or a descendant of a disciple? Lineage. I'm going to do work on it. I'm going to look a little bit deeper into it. But if you follow me, and you know how I think based upon listening to previous podcasts, I don't know everything, but I do believe something. And I believe that Jesus was who Jesus was. And I believe that he did what they said he did. I also believe that his disciples, the ones who were true, did what they were supposed to do as well. Because he created a network of people who had networks of people to spread the word, share information, gain knowledge, develop wisdom, and all these things that I talk about in this podcast. Has there been a time where a storyteller had you change your mind? Where a storyteller had you go ahead and say yes. where a storyteller has got you to the point where you said, fuck no, I ain't doing it no more. Has this ever happened to you? I know we all have run into a storyteller. Can you remember a time when a storyteller caused you to make a decision that you're going to remember for the rest of your life, knowing that it was the best thing that you could have did for yourself? Because had you not done it, you would have never knew, because you don't know until you do. This has been another episode of So Says Mr. Thunder. I'm Mr. Thunder. I'm a Native American of this country, and there ain't a damn thing you can do about it. Go ahead and follow the Instagram page, So Says Mr. Thunder, the YouTube, So Says Mr. Thunder, and you can find this podcast on all podcast platforms. Spreaker is the one I'm recording on, but it's Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Prime Music, iHeartRadio, Spotify, and a few others. So anyways, if you feel like this message has impacted you or you have a response, I definitely want to hear from you. And even if I don't hear from you, I hope that you listen to other episodes where it's not me, it's somebody else, because it's not about me, it's about you. So until next time, be looking for the intro video, the promotion video that happened this past week. I want to thank them. If you go to the Instagram page, they'll have their information. I can't remember it off the top of my head. However, they are connected to me. So with that being said, be on the lookout for that. And I look forward to doing more things and following up on this griot and the message that I received. Peace.